I knew that smile, the way her lips curved, the soft crinkle at the corners of her eyes, gentle, playful, almost tender. It was the smile she used to give me across crowded rooms when we first started dating. The smile that told me without a word, I see you. I choose you. But tonight, that smile wasn't for me. It was for him. A man I didn't recognize, tall, neatly dressed, standing far too close to my wife, Emily. His hand brushed hers as they laughed. Their heads bent together in a way that made my stomach knot froze. My body went cold, even though the restaurant was warm with dim lights and low chatter. For a moment, the clinking of glasses and hum of conversation around me blurred into nothing but the sound of my own heartbeat. That smile was mine, and she just gave it away. I was ready to turn around, to walk out of that place and let the whole marriage collapse behind me like a building set on fire. But then, just as I took a step back, Emily turned her head, eyes finding mine across the room, and she said my name. The night that changed everything. Daniel, she called, her voice light, almost too casual, as if she hadn't just gutted me with that smile. The man glanced toward me, then shifted slightly, giving her space. My legs carried me forward, though my mind screamed at me to run. By the time I reached the table, Emily was already standing, her hand brushing my arm as if nothing had happened. "Daniel, this is Michael," she said smoothly. "He's a new project manager at the firm." Michael extended a hand. "Pleasure." I shook it, but my grip was stiff, mechanical. My throat was dry, words sticking somewhere deep. I managed a clip, "Nice to meet you." Emily smiled at me this time, but it wasn't the same. Not the secret language we once shared. It was the kind of smile you give in public, polite, practiced. Inside, I was unraveling seeds of doubt. The rest of dinner passed in fragments. I barely tasted the food. Michael excused himself after a short while, claiming he had another engagement, and Emily's eyes followed him as he left. Not for long, but long enough for me to notice. On the drive home, the silence was heavier than any argument we'd ever had. Finally, she asked, "Are you okay? You've been quiet." I forced a laugh that sounded more like a cough. "Just tired," but my thoughts screamed. Who is he really? Why did you smile like that night, lying beside her in bed? I stared at the ceiling, listening to her steady breathing. Every memory replayed with a new sharpness. The late night she'd said she was working, the sudden new clothes she claimed were on sale, the way she had guarded her phone more carefully lately. Had it all been there, waiting for me to notice? Cracks in the foundation. The next morning, over coffee, I tested the waters. "Oh, Michael," I said, keeping my tone even. "He seems friendly." Emily didn't look up from her phone. "He's fine. Just started last month." "Why nothing?" I lied. "You just seemed close." Her head snapped up then, eyes narrowing. "Close? Daniel, don't start. He's a co-worker." I raised my hands in surrender. "I didn't mean." "Yes, you did." She cut in, her voice sharp. "You're reading into things that aren't there." But I had seen her smile. And once you've seen something like that, you can't unsee it. The search for truth. Over the next week, suspicion gnawed at me like a parasite. I told myself not to snoop, that trust was the foundation of marriage. But trust felt like a word from another lifetime. One night when Emily was in the shower, her phone buzzed on the nightstand. My hand shook as I picked it up. A message preview lit the screen. "Michael, last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about it." My chest constricted. My vision blurred. I unlocked the phone. Yes, I knew her passcode, though I wished I didn't. The thread was short, but damning. Dinner meetings, flirty emojis, and one picture of Emily in a dress I'd never seen her wear for me. The world tilted. I sat on the edge of the bed, phone clutched like evidence in a trial. When Emily came out, towel around her hair, she froze at the sight of me holding it. "Daniel," she whispered, face draining of color. "Last night was amazing." My voice cracked. "What does that mean?" Emily, her mouth opened, closed. Then finally, "It's not what you think," but it was exactly what I thought. Confrontation. "Don't lie to me," I said louder now. My hands trembled as I held out the phone. "You smiled at him the way you used to smile at me. My voice broke. "You gave us away." She sank onto the bed, burying her face in her hands. "I didn't mean for it to happen." "That's your defense." Ask bitter that you tripped and fell into his arms. Tears streaked down her cheeks, but they didn't move me. I had loved her tears once, wanted to protect her from them. Now they just felt like weapons. I felt invisible, she said finally. You've been so busy, so distant. And he noticed me. The words cut deeper than the messages. Invisible. After all the years, the late nights, the sacrifices, I had become invisible to my own wife. The breaking point. For days, I moved through the house like a ghost. We spoke only when necessary. At work, I went through the motions. At night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering when love had turned into this battlefield of silence and suspicion. Then, one evening, Emily tried to bridge the gap. Daniel, she said softly, sitting beside me on the couch. I ended it with him. Swear, I don't want her to lose you. Her eyes were pleading, searching mine for something. Mercy, maybe, but I had nothing left to give. You already lost me, I said quietly. Her face crumpled, but I couldn't take the words back. They were truer than anything I'd ever said. Walking away. The night I packed my bags, she didn't try to stop me. She just stood in the doorway, arms wrapped around herself, whispering my name like a prayer. Daniel, I paused, suitcase in hand, waiting for some part of me to break to turn back. But the image of that smile, the one she gave another man, flashed again in my mind, and I kept walking. As the door clicked shut behind me, the silence was deafening. But for the first time in weeks, I could breathe. Aftermath. It's been months now. Some days are harder than others. I still catch myself reaching for the other side of the bed, expecting her warmth. I still see her smile in my dreams. But I also remember the cold truth. Love cannot survive where trust is buried. Emily reached out once asking if we could meet, talk things through. Almost said yes. But then I remembered the moment that started it all. Her smile at another man, the one that was never supposed to leave our marriage. And I knew I couldn't go back. Betrayal isn't always loud. Sometimes it's as quiet as a smile in the wrong direction. I lost my wife the moment she gave our smile away. And though it broke me, walking away was the only way to start living again.